Hello students, today we are going to learn about the introduction to growth and development. Introduction to growth and development. So what is growth and development? So it is the journey of the child from birth to adulthood. So if we know that what is growth and development in detail, so if any abnormality occurs in child, so we will be able to identify. But if we want to diagnose any abnormality, so definitely first of all we should know that what is normal. If we know the normal, then and then we can say that what is abnormal. So let us understand what is normal growth and development. So as you can see in this slide, growth and development. So here the child is learning from head control to side lying to sitting position to standing and walking. At the same time, the size of the body is also increasing day by day. So all these are nothing but it is part of growth and development. Now there is one difference between growth and development. So what is growth and what is development, that we are going to learn. So growth, it is, we can say, related to your structure. It is change in your structure of body. It is your anatomy that is changing. Clear? So growth, it is the process of physical maturation resulting in the size of body as well as various organs. Now how this growth occurs? So that is very simple. That occurs by multiplication of cells, okay, and increase in intracellular substance. Means the number of cells, they will also increase, and if you consider individual isolated cell, so whatever the substances are there, that will also increase. So the size of the cell may also become bigger, as well as the number of cells, they are also becoming more. Now we can say that it is one type of the quantitative change in body. Okay, it can be measured. Okay, it is measurable change. It is quantitative change in body. Now what is development? So development, it is related to your function of the body. Okay, it is related to your function of the body. Okay, it is your change in physiology. Okay, so if you are learning new things, so that will be considered under development. Clear? So that is physiological maturation, functional maturation of individual. Now what it is? So you are learning new skill, okay, and increasing the capacity of performing any function. Okay, so for example, initially we learn bicycle, then we learn scooter, then we learn car. So it is process of getting skill. Okay, so our functional capacity is increasing. Okay, so that is example of development. Okay, in the similar way, the child will be also having development. Now it is related to maturation and myelination of nervous system. We all know that whenever the birth occurs, so myelin sheath will be absent. It takes 3 to 5 years to get full myelination of nervous system. So initially during the birth, the baby will not be having any type of function. Okay, he will be totally dependent. But once the development occurs, so what is actually occurring inside? Myelination of our nervous system. So this myelination of nervous system will enable the child to learn new function. Okay, so initially during the birth, there is no any skill that is present. Okay, child is dependent in all his activity, and up to the age of 3 years, most of the myelination occurs. So at least child will be independent. Okay, child will be eating, child will be playing, child will be sleeping. Okay, so all these are different aspects of development. So it includes not only physiological maturation, it also includes psychological, emotional and social changes. Clear? So psychological changes means the patient will be having more and more maturation of thinking. Clear? Patient is also having different types of the moods. Okay, so that is affecting your emotion. Patient is expressing anger. This child is expressing anger, child is expressing sadness, child is expressing smile. Okay, so all these are emotional aspects. Social changes means child will recognize the mother. There will be stranger anxiety means if any new person comes that does not belong to family, so child will not be happy, child may start crying. Okay, on one side child is giving smile to familiar person and child is crying whenever it is unfamiliar person. Okay, so that is social change. Okay, so that the child is learning. Here development is one type of the qualitative aspect. Okay, it is not measured in centimeter, meter or kilogram. Okay, it will be just felt or it will be observed, but it will not be measured. Like I can say that initially the child was sitting with support, now the child is sitting without support. Clear? So that is observable thing, it cannot be measured. Like initially the child was not able to stand, now the child is able to stand. Okay, so it is just observed, okay, or it is to be examined. Okay, so it is one type of the qualitative aspect. So growth means it is quantitative aspect and development means it is qualitative aspect. Clear? Growth can be measured, development it is not measured, it is observed. Growth means it is structural part, that is we are taking care of. Development means it is functional part that we are taking care of. Clear? Okay, growth means it is related to change in anatomy. Okay, and development means it is change in physiology. So this is growth and development. Now there are few principles of growth and development. So which are they? We are going to learn. So there are three principles. First, cephalocaudal direction. So it is always growth and development from cephalo means head, okay, and caudal means it is tail part, or in humans we can say it is lower limb part. So there will be always development from head to leg side. Clear? So the upper part will be having more growth, okay, and lower part will be having less growth. Then gradually the growth will increase from upper to lower part. Then proximo-distal direction. So initially all the activities will be there in proximal part. So if you consider upper limb, so shoulder will be having movement first, then elbow, and then wrist, and then fingers. Clear? So the child is learning the movement from proximal to distal direction, and it is general to specific. So initially the child is doing activity, but it is not very skillful activity. Okay, it is generalized activity. Then the child will shift to specific type of activity. Let us see in detail. So you can see in this figure, it is cephalocaudal direction type of development. So when you see this developmental milestones also, so at that time you will realize that initially there will be head control. Okay, first milestone to be developed in gross motor domain, it is head control. So the child will learn how to control the head within 2-3 months of age. Clear? So that is head control. Okay, and last at the age of 15 months or even more, the child will start proper walking and even running later. Clear? So later on we have development of lower limbs. Okay, in between, so you can remember like this, there is head control. Okay, so that is related to head. Then there will be rolling. Okay, so rolling will, it is involvement of trunk that patient is doing or the child is doing, and then patient or child will be getting sitting position. So now the development has come up to trunk. Okay, then the child will be having pull to stand and then walk. Clear? So later on it is lower limb. So the sequence is head, then upper limb and trunk, and then leg. So it is cephalocaudal direction development. So what is it? So it is the process of cephalocaudal direction from head down to tail. Clear? So the improvement in structure and function come first in the head region, then in the trunk, and then in the leg. Okay, as we discussed, initially head control, then sitting, and then leg control, so that is standing and walking. Clear? In between other milestones, they are also coming from this only, from upside down it is coming. So it is known as cephalocaudal direction. Now proximo-distal direction. So the proximal part will be having development more initially, then it will be spreading to distal part. Clear? So as we discussed, in upper limb, first the shoulder movement will happen, then elbow, and then wrist, and then fingers. Okay, if you consider lower limb, so hip, knee, ankle, and toe movement. Okay, so it comes like this. So it will be always from proximal to distal, or we can say that it is from midline to periphery. Clear? So this is from midline to periphery type of development. So initially if you consider the child, so child will be facing anteriorly, then the child will be rotating his or her head laterally also. Okay, so it is from midline to periphery. Same for upper limb and lower limb. So the development will be starting from center to periphery or midline to periphery. Now general to specific. So general to specific means what? So initially whenever the child wants to do anything, so it will be just generalized learning. Okay, for example, if I know that okay, this is dog and this is cat, okay, now so that is general identification of animals. Now which type of dog, okay, whether it is Doberman, whether it is Alsatian, okay, so all these are different types of the dog, so that is specific learning, we can say. Clear? So the children use their cognitive and language skills. Okay, for example, initially if I tell that I want to eat, so I just need food, okay, so that is generalized demand. Okay, but if I tell that okay, I need this food, okay, I need biscuit, or I need this tea, I need coffee, so that is specific demand. Okay, so the child will develop this general to specific. So for that, now the child has good cognitive and language skills. Clear? Initially the child was just telling that I want to eat food. Now the child is also telling that what he wants to eat. Clear? Then it is also related to manipulation of different objects. So how that we are learning? So first of all, the child will use both the hands, okay, to hold any object, okay, large object with both the hands. Then the same large object will be held by single hand. Clear? So from two hands the child is shifting to one hand, so it is again coming to some specific hold. Okay, again from this child will be able to hold small object also now. Clear? So the child will learn this holding bigger object easily initially. Okay, for example, if there is ball or plastic ball that can be lifted by the child, so that will be very easy for the child to lift. Okay, but if there is a key, so that will be needing some precise grip. Clear? So for that the child will need time. Clear? So how this maturation occurs? So it is from holding or lifting large object with two hands. Then maturation wise the child will learn large object with single hand. Okay, again from large object child will learn to operate or manipulate small object with single hand. Okay, now when the child will learn how to hold a pencil, so how the maturation occurs? So initially the child will be having circle drawing, then rectangle drawing, and then letter. Clear? So directly the child will not be able to operate, or any letter child cannot write. Okay, initially the child will be just drawing the circle, okay, and that will also not be circle, okay, it will be some complex shape, but the child is trying to develop circle. Okay, then there will be specific type of the figure, so rectangle, so it has corners. Okay, so whether you consider rectangle or triangle, whatever, okay, so it will take time for the child to learn. Okay, and last it will be letter. Okay, so letter means A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, whatever. Yes, so it is from general to specific development or maturation. Now which are the factors? Those are affecting growth and development. So the factors are multiple factors. Clear? Many times all these factors, they are affecting growth and development directly or indirectly. Clear? Directly means it has direct effect, okay, and indirectly means it is secondary effect. Clear? Directly it is not affecting, but it creates something, okay, that will be either retarding or increasing growth and development. Clear? So the growth and development may be promoted also, may be hindered also. Clear? For example, if you do exercise, so definitely it will increase your growth and development. Okay, but just for example, if you are not going anywhere to play, or if your parents or if your family members, they are not allowing the child to play with other peer, what we can say, peer friends. Peer friends means of the same age. Clear? So the child will learn. Clear? So if the 5 years old child play with the 5 years old other children, so they will learn many things. Clear? So this is very important, interaction. But if this interaction is not given because of any cultural background or some belief, so definitely it will hinder the process also. Clear? So exercise, good nutrition may increase or may promote this growth and development, and sometimes some few cultural beliefs or some religious beliefs, they will hinder or inhibit this process also. List wise, there are three factors: genetic factors, prenatal factors, and postnatal factors. Genetic factors means those are related to family history. Clear? Family history means if the father and mother, they are suffering from any disorder or any disease that can be transmitted hereditary, so definitely the child will be also suffering. Other factors are like race or nationality or some gender bias. Okay, so that we are going to learn. Now prenatal factors. So prenatal factors means those are the factors present in mother before the birth of child, when there is pregnancy. Clear? And postnatal means the child is already delivered, means after birth. So prenatal means it is before birth, and postnatal means it is after birth, and genetic means it is related to family history. So what are these factors? Genetic factors. Okay, so that definitely affects the growth and development of children. So one is sex or gender. So definitely if you compare male and female, so the growth and development will be different. Clear? So growth in the case of male will be more as compared to female. So that is average. Okay, so most of the males, they are having more height and weight as compared to females. Okay, then race and nationality. So race means, okay, for example, if you consider some African countries, okay, so they are from some tribal sites, so they will be having very good height and weight. Clear? But if you consider a few other races, okay, so like Japanese, so they are having a low height. Okay, they are short in stature. Clear? So this is the variation. Nationality. So definitely if you compare Indian person with the Australian person, so definitely we will be having less height and weight as compared to Australian people. Okay, why? Because the environment also affects the nation. Even in the same nation, if you consider, so if you start from south to north or north to south, so the size of the body will differ. Clear? So the height will be more in the North Indian people and it will be less in South Indian people. Okay, exceptions are always there. Okay, remember, exceptions are always there, but this is general idea. Okay, in Gujarat the height is intermediate. Okay, so these are all race wise, nationality wise, and gender wise variations. Now coming to prenatal factors. So prenatal factors means they are before birth. Okay, so intrauterine environment. Intrauterine means when the baby is inside the uterus. So whatever the environment the child is getting inside the uterus, that is also very important. Okay, so which are these factors? Those may affect this intrauterine environment. So first is maternal malnutrition. If the mother, that is pregnant lady, okay, if she is not in good socio-economical condition and she is not getting proper nutrition, she will be lean and thin, so she is not gaining weight during the pregnancy. Ideally there should be more weight gain. Okay, generally sometimes it may be up to 15 to 20 kg, maybe many times. Clear? So definitely if the proper nutrition is not given, the child will also not get proper nutrition and there are chances of retardation in growth and development. Clear? Maternal infection. So the torch infection, that is very common. Torch means toxoplasmosis. Okay, R means rubella. Okay, then C cytomegalo and herpes. So all these infections, they are very common to mother. So infection itself, it is harmful to the growth and development of this fetus. Okay, and sometimes this antibiotics, they are given to mother just to cure this infection. So these medications, they may also be harmful to fetus. Fetus means the child inside the uterus. Sometimes it is substance abuse. So if the mother is having any addiction of drugs or alcohol or tobacco, so that may also affect growth and development of child. Maternal illness. So sometimes it is not just a hi-fi illness. Okay, it may be simply routinely illness, cough and cold, fever. So few persons, they are more prone to get this. Clear? Or sometimes in the 7th, 8th month of the pregnancy, there may be increased blood pressure, that is known as eclampsia. So all this illness, sometimes juvenile diabetes, okay, gestational diabetes, all these are the conditions, those are present in mother, so that may lead to also problem. Hormones, so definitely the hormone changes will be there, and if the patient, that is mother, is on any hormonal therapy, so that may be also harmful. And various other factors are also there. Various other factors means it includes anxiety, stress, workload, okay, job pressure, all these factors to the mother, definitely it will affect the intrauterine growth and development of child. So all these factors should be considered. Now the postnatal factors, so that is after birth. So this factors, it is not related to health condition of mother, it is related to child only, so it is child specific. Postnatal means it is after birth. So first is growth potential. Growth potential means, like, if the child's father and mother, they are having long height, so definitely the child will get longer height. Okay, if the family all members, they are having good weight, definitely the child will be having good weight. Okay, so it is its own potential. Then nutritional level, many child, they are very good, they have very good nutrition status, clear. So sometimes the condition of the family is good, but the child himself or herself is not getting proper nutrition, so the nutrition level reduced, that is also affecting growth and development. Childhood illness, many times if it is long illness like typhoid, malaria, so if it occurs during the childhood, definitely the child will lose the weight and it will retard this growth and development temporarily. Sometimes if it is epilepsy, so that may also affect the growth and development. Then physical environment, that gives you different challenges. So if you are living in villages where the challenges are more, so your growth and development will be different. If you are living in city, if you are having all the facilities, so physical environment is giving you facilities, so again your growth and development will be different. Then psychological environment, so how the family members are behaving in the family, that will be having lot of impact on child's behavior as well as child's growth and development. So always, whenever you are also parents, be careful when your child is there, your behavior affects them. Then cultural influence, so many cultural activities, they are also affecting. For example, if you think of the tribal area, so in the tribal area the culture is different, so the psychology of that individual child will be different. Okay, if someone is having birth in very high society family, so they will be also having different picture. So growth and development, they are also affected by cultural influence. So cultural influence means in which type of this society they are living. Like if you think that the son or daughter of any soldier, so they will be very brave. Why? Because their culture is like that. Okay, they live in that atmosphere. But if you think of any businessman family, so culture is different. If you think of any person living in forest like tribal, okay, so again their culture will be different. So the culture will also affect growth and development. Then socio-economical status, so definitely it will affect. If the family income is good, there will be good nutrition and it will be giving good growth and development, clear. Climate and season, they are also very important. So if you are living in hot country, cold country, or what will be your climate of the nation, okay, or climate of your area, okay, that will also affect the growth and development. Play and exercise, so definitely if the child is getting involvement in play therapy, it is known as play therapy, clear. As a physiotherapist, many times we are giving play therapy. So by play, definitely there will be exercise of all these muscles and there will be increase in size of body in terms of height and weight and other parameters also. Birth order of the child, so that will be in case of twins or even more than twins like triplets. So first child will be more healthy as compared to second child. So birth order of the child is also important. And intelligence, so IQ level, you can say intelligent quotient. So the person having good IQ will be having very good development. So that is physiological maturation, that will be more. So intelligence, it is also affecting. So all these are postnatal factors related to child. Those may affect the growth and development. Now different age periods. So depending on different age periods, different names are given. Okay, so these are different age periods. Now this starts directly from birth. Before birth, what we are telling, it is fetus. When the child is inside the uterus of mother, it is known as fetus. Okay, later on, so later on they are infancy, early childhood, middle childhood and late childhood. Infancy, early childhood, middle childhood and late childhood. What is infancy? So infancy has again two parts. One is neonate, so that is up to 1 month of the age. Many literatures, they are supporting up to 28 days. Clear? So first 28 days or first month will be considered as neonate, and there are specific branches also for this neonate, so they are known as neonatologist. Okay, now come to infant. So infant means from 1 month to 1 year. Again, few literatures, they are supporting the use of infant up to 2 years. Okay, so either up to 1 year or up to 2 years, you can say infant. So literature differs. So you can tell up to 1 year also, it is also right, and if you tell up to 2 years, so that is also right. But here we are considering up to 1 year. Now early childhood, so it has also two parts. First is toddler, so it is 1 to 3 years. Okay, 1 to 3 years, so that is toddler. Then preschool. Okay, preschool. So to get admission in first standard, the child must have completed 6 years. Clear? Okay, so before 6 years it will be considered preschool, or we are telling that the child is in primary. Okay, that is pre-primary session. Okay, so 3 to 6 years, so it is preschool. Then school age, so that will be 6 to 12 years. Okay, school age, so that will be 6 to 12 years. And adolescent, so that will be 13 to 18 years. 13 to 18 years. Clear? So all these are different age periods. So let us revise. Infancy, so that is including neonate up to 1 month. Infant means up to 1 year. Toddler means up to 3 years. Preschool means up to 6 years. School age means up to 12 years. And adolescent up to 18 years. So if you have any question, you can ask. Thank you.